I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed that every time your team is stressed, you somehow end up carrying that emotional weight, even when the problem doesn't belong to you? It doesn't matter if the issue started between two team members, within a process, or somewhere outside of your control, it eventually will find its way to you. Over the years, supporting hundreds of leaders across industries, I've learned something that's really important. Most leaders aren't just managing tasks, they're managing the emotional climate of their entire team. And here's the part that no one will prepare you for. You feel their stress before you actually start to feel your own. You sense tension in the room, you read the energy, you anticipate problems before they surface. When everyone else has gone home, you feel yourself holding the residual weight. I know this experience personally because for years I thought it was simply part of being a leader. Then I learned what was really happening and how to change it. Once that happened, everything shifted in the right direction. So I want to talk to you about that today. Here's the truth that no one actually tells you. Leaders are absorbing stress that isn't theirs. And this is what I mean. Multi-generational teams express their stress very differently. Gen Z show it through withdrawal or quick overwhelm. Millennials will show it through overperformance and perfectionism. Gen X hide it until it literally erupts. Boomers internalize it and keep working through it. Who reads all these signals and tries to compensate? Well, that'll be you. You're the leader. Let me ask you, do you remember the moment you walked into a meeting and instantly felt the energy just drop before anyone has even spoken? Or when was the last time you carried tension home that wasn't actually yours? You're not overly sensitive, and that's a mistake a lot of leaders make, thinking they are. It's basically because leaders are trained consciously or not to scan for threat, stability and cohesion. The emotional load becomes part of the job until it becomes too heavy for you. Leaders carry the emotional weight they shouldn't, and these 3 reasons show up again and again in my work. Number 1, you interpret their emotions as your responsibility. Someone looks frustrated, you step in. Someone hesitates, you'll fill in the gap. Someone withdraws, you'll overfunction. Number 2, you feel emotional silence the same way you feel operational silence. You step in to help, but instead you absorb. Number 3, you've been conditioned to be the stabilizer, especially if you grew up in an environment where calmness kept the peace. Let me ask you, when was the last time you checked in on yourself before checking in on your team? Most leaders don't remember. The emotional load cycle drains you silently. Here's how the cycle works. Your team feels stress. You feel responsible. You absorb it. Your bandwidth shrinks. Your resilience drops. Your team senses your strain. Their stress increases. You carry even more. This is the emotional burnout loop no one talks about. But here's the important part. You don't break the cycle by carrying less. You break it by carrying it differently. Here's a tool that will help. We can call it the emotional boundary check. This is a 30-second shift that stops absorption before it starts. Before reacting to someone's stress, ask yourself, is this mine or is this theirs? If it's yours, address it. If it's theirs, support. Don't absorb. Then ask, what is the support they need? Not the support I default to. For example, they might need clarity, not comfort. They might need direction, not rescue. They might need space, not a solution. When was the last time you solved something for someone that they could have handled with support instead of intervention? This one question can change your entire leadership presence. Another helpful tool that we could call the emotion action filler. This stops emotional overwhelm from turning into overfunctioning. When someone brings stress to you, run it through this filter. Step 1, name the emotion you're sensing. Is it frustration, overwhelm, fear, or pressure? Step 2, identify the action that belongs to them. What's the next step you think you need to take? Step 3, identify the support that belongs to you. How can I best support your next step? This separates their emotion from your responsibility. It also prevents the emotional boomerang, the dynamic where stress comes off their shoulders and lands straight onto yours. Remember the moment when someone left a meeting feeling lighter, but you felt heavier. This is the emotional boomerang. This tool stops it. Finally, the third tool we can call team temperature check-in. This keeps emotion visible before it becomes your load. Once a week, ask your team, what's feeling heavy? What's feeling clear? What do you need from me this week? What do you not need from me this week? This creates shared emotional responsibility instead of leadership absorption. It also reinforces psychological safety, especially across all of the generations. Because here's the truth. If you don't give people a place to put their emotional tension, they will unconsciously place it on top of you. So what happens when you stop carrying everything emotionally? Your team will literally become more emotionally aware, more self-led, more responsible for their own states, and more collaborative and more resilient. And you become more centered, more energized, more strategic, more grounded, and more human. Your team no longer sees you as the absorber, but as the anchor. This is the difference between emotional labor and emotional leadership. And this is where leadership meets life at work. Just before I finish, I want you to take a minute and just think about this. Do you remember the moment when you walked away from someone else's stress thinking about it all night? Or when was the last time you protected your emotional capacity as fiercely as your workload? And what would change if you carried support, not stress, into the week ahead? Leadership isn't about holding everything emotional in the room. It's about knowing which ones belong to you.